is the Shine Bright Nation team call. It is Tuesday, April the 2nd. Yay for a new month. I'm pumped for this month. Yeah, I've just set some different intentions for this month because, well, it's nothing to do with the call. I'll get into that later. But just because, so little example is I had let Brad fall from being an Emerald coach. Not let him, like he has a bunch of discount coaches on his team. So sometimes some of them aren't ordering and he'll have somebody go, like he'll have his left leg won't have somebody active on it. When that happens, he can't earn team volume bonus. And he also can't collect commission. So he can't earn team volume bonus. Anyway, got him back to Emerald. And I go and look, and his pay last week was like $300, and mine was like $900, and like US, right, before that translates to Canadian. And I'm like, you know what? That didn't take me any effort. It really didn't. It took foundation work, years, but I'm just saying it didn't take me a lot of effort to earn that. And I'm like, why am I not 10xing that? Like, why am I not working harder? Because I know I can be. And if I can earn that, it's the same as my first paycheck that I earned for $90 without trying. If we can do that with a little effort, like I'm putting the pressure on myself to go, not necessarily harder, just smarter, like being more intentional with the time I'm spending on the business things. And that's where I see Duke, he's so cute. He's like at the door, like, let me out. I don't want to be in this room. But yeah, so that's sort of what I want to talk about tonight is that, yeah, on March 22nd, it was my 6-year anniversary of signing up as a coach. Now, I say that loosely because I wasn't a coach right away. As you guys know, I started this as a discount coach. It wasn't for the business side of it at all. And obviously, things have changed a ton over the 6 years that I've been doing this. It's been up, down, and all around, and no necessarily rhyme or reason sometimes for it, but that's just how this business goes. Just a second here. I'm trying to make it. I changed it to being like Amanda being the main screen. I don't know what's happening. It's so weird. Sorry. I'm just trying to make the screen better. Okay, we're good. So I wanted to share just a couple things that I know for sure that have remained 100% the same over the course of my business, or that I have learned over the course of the last 6 years will probably always be the same. So the number one thing that I wrote down a couple, but the first thing that came to mind, because I see this happening in newer coaches and in long-term coaches like you guys too, being that the certainty we can have, and it kind of sucks, but is that we're going to face challenges. It's just a given that I could not have known when I started this business in 2013 what was going to happen in my life over the course of the next 6 years that I was going to have to continue to work through for my job, like, which is what this is, right? And you guys know my story, like, you know about my dad having passed away when I was a kid and stuff, and those things, of course, will always affect me. But what a lot of people don't know is that when I started actively working as a coach, I had just lost somebody else really, really important to me. My stepdad of 17 years walked out on my mom and my family when I was pregnant with Weston. So when I began this, when Weston was 7 months old, it was really fresh. It was really confusing. It wasn't just like it turned out he was a completely different person than who I had known to be. He was essentially my dad. He was my dad longer than my dad had been. And he left us. He was a gambling addict and he was an alcoholic, and he literally took off and left my mom bankrupt. And my mom was going through hell, and we as a family were going through hell. And I remember being like, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to push through this to make this thing a thing that Rosa tells me can be a thing. Like, I just remember feeling the weight of it. It was really flippin' hard. That man who I thought I had known and trusted now lives in Vietnam with his, like, I don't know, 20-year-old Vietnamese wife. Like, he has nothing to do with our family. He never once reached out to us. He never explained why he did what he did. He was just gone. And It was really freaking challenging. And like, you guys know the rest of the story, right? Like, you know that when I started this, Brad was working full time and he had a regular job, and we had a regular, what I would say, life. Like, I had my 2 kids, I had my husband at work 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. Things were normal, and then they weren't normal. In 2016, everything changed again when Brad got sick, and it's just continued to change since then. So what I know for sure, and I don't say it in a negative way, because change happens in life. It's just a given. And I know that when we set up our minds to be successful at something, like when we put it out there that we're going to go for something and we're going to rock it, universe is going to throw stuff in our way to see how serious we are about what we're saying. I know that full well. Jen Sincero alludes to that in her book, You Are a Badass. She says exactly that. Like, time after time, these stories of people that are crazy successful, but that like had all this crap fall on them that would make a regular person think, okay, maybe this dream isn't meant to be. Maybe this isn't a thing. But yeah, it's basically just a matter of saying, what are you willing to push through, or what are you willing to overcome? And overcoming it means that we don't drown in the overwhelm of it. And I think that's really, really challenging, because it's ultimately on us to be successful. It's not on anyone else, right? So it's really, really challenging to push ourselves as an entrepreneur to keep going through the things that life throws at us. But if you know that you're not alone in that, if you know that it happens to everybody, hopefully that gives you strength to say you can do it too, and know you can push through it. Darren Hardy, in his book, The Compound Effect, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. He says, you alone are responsible for what you do, don't do, or how you respond to what's done to you. Because we can't, this is my second point, this sucks. This point sucks, and I full on admit it. We can't count on anyone but ourselves in this business. People are going to let you down. People are going to change. People are going to leave. Like, over the course of the 6 years, Shine Bright Nation has changed dramatically, not just from different names and whatnot, but from the people that comprise our team. It's entirely different for the most part now than it was on day one. And there are people that were with me on day one, or like, not day one, but early on in my business, that I thought would never go anywhere. And they're gone. They don't even respond to me like as a friend anymore. And I'm like, what the? But that's their journey. And it's one of those bless and release things. But our only sure thing in this is us. It's why your goals can't have anything to do with anybody else. Like, that doesn't mean your why. Like, if part of my why is providing for my family, that can do with them. But a big part of my original like push to do things was because I wanted to be a certain coach for Rosa. I felt a personal responsibility that she actually kind of put on us to get to certain ranks, to make her a 10-star diamond coach, or so that she could get that bonus, so that we could go on that trip. Like, there was a lot of pressure from up to make us be a certain thing. And that's not a fun way to be. Your goals are so yours. It has nothing to do with me. In fact, I had someone on our team say to me last night, I want to get you to 2-star. And I said back, please don't. Like, please don't make if you want to go for that rank, if you want to go for diamond, do it. I support you, and I want to see you owning your team and running a team and doing your thing. But don't do it to get me to a rank, because that's not what it's about. Your goals have to be completely tied to you, your life, how it will affect your life, and what you want for your life. It can't have anything to do with anybody else. And when you have that, that's actually super powerful. You take away any emotional connection you have to that goal that has to do with anybody else. So, do I want Shine Bright Nation to be a 5-star diamond team and above? Hell yes. But not because of what that means for me. It's because our team would have 5 amazing leaders with teams underneath you guys. You have your people, you're leading your team calls, you're influencing more change on your own. Like, that's a proud coach moment that has nothing to do with my rank. So that was point number 2, is that People will unfortunately let you down, and your only sure thing is you. What was that? Sorry, I don't know if that ties to that. Oh yeah, that too. If you're only reliant on yourself and your goals for what you want from this business, if it's not emotionally tied to anyone else, you're also able to accept that no one owes you anything. Like for me, this was something I really had to realize. Not my upline. She doesn't owe me relationship, even though we had one and I miss it like crazy. She doesn't owe that to me. And I realize that now. But she, like, I can't expect anything from my friends or my followers. And that sounds negative, and I don't mean it to be. It's actually super empowering. It is empowering to do your thing for you and watch the rest fall into place. Watch those relationships grow. Watch those supporters come to you. But to say, I don't know, I posted like 5 times that I was hosting a challenge group and nobody reached out to me. Like I just want to start over. That's not what this is about. You do you and you do your thing, because it's a step forward to where you ultimately want to go. So you are your only sure thing in this business. I would be safe to say, though, I'm a pretty sure thing in this business, and you can count on me. I want you guys to know that. I'm not going anywhere, ever. Number 4, and this is kind of my favorite one because it's just true. Making mistakes is a given, and we need to accept them. We need to accept that we're not going to be perfect at network marketing. We need to accept that we're going to have awkward as hell invites. We're going to have moments where we feel like we don't know what we're doing. We're going to look at things like Google Streak that everybody tells us we need to do for our business and be baffled by it because it's not our strength. And that's okay. It is so okay that failing forward, that messy, imperfect action beats perfect inaction any day. Like, don't sit and think and dream about your most perfect post and your most perfect challenge group and your most beautiful Instagram grid or whatever it might be. Just do the things. Go back and look at my social media. It sucked, y'all. Like, it sucked. I did it every day, though. I showed up every day, even if it was crappy. And I didn't know. I thought it was pretty great until I look back at it now. I'm like, ooh, those colors are bad. That font, why? What was I thinking? But yeah, making mistakes is a given. And the painful moments we experience in this business are to teach us. It's just a teaching moment. It's like, okay, that didn't work. Why didn't it work? What can I do differently? How am I moving forward? And constantly failing forward. So that was point number 3, that mistakes are allowed. And I think this is a hard one for people to get that come from the corporate world, because mistakes are punished, right? Like, if you screw up at your job, you get talked down to by your boss, you get a lot of negativity around you. That doesn't happen with this. Your mistakes aren't mistakes. They're learning opportunities. They don't matter. They really, truly don't matter. And I would, hands down, love to watch you guys continue to fail forward, like, than to see you do nothing. That's what I always say. If somebody asks me a question, they're like, oh, I'm sorry if this is a stupid question. I'm like, the fact that you're asking it lets me know you're working. That's fantastic. Like, that's the goal, is to just keep taking action. So mistakes are a given in network marketing, and they're actually celebrated more so than in any other business. The other one was that even on its very worst day, being an entrepreneur is better than the best day at a regular job. For me, hands down. I thought about that, like the tears that I've cried and the highs that I've had and the in-betweens and all the things. I'm like, no matter what, this that I do beats any day at any job I've ever had before. And I had some great jobs. I had jobs that I loved. I had jobs that filled me up or gave me a sense of purpose, but I never had a job that made me feel in charge of, even when I was like managing, I never felt like really in charge, because there's still head office all over you and protocols to follow and things like that, right? I was sitting here today writing these notes down, and I'm feeling sick and I'm feeling tired, and I'm sitting though on my chair in my living room and in the sunshine, and like I'm waiting to pick up my kids from school, and I was thinking about every single day, not that I can remember all of them, but every single day since I started this. So I thought about doing my workouts when Weston was like 1 and Sloan was 3 and they're napping, and that I would get them down for their naps, and that's when I would race downstairs and get my workout done. Like that was the phase of life that I was in. And then I would hurry up and get dinner on the table, and I would sit at the kitchen table and I would go through, it was Danny Johnson, smarternetworking.com or something. It was some work thing I was working on. And I would sit there at my kitchen table and get it done. And then I graduated from my kitchen table to a corner desk in like my basement, corner of my basement. And I would work sometimes till 2 a.m. because my computer would constantly shut down. It was broken and it would like shut down in the middle of me creating a graphic or something. And I was like, come on, like I need this, until I earned enough to buy my MacBook that I now work on for Beachbody. Thank you, MacBook. I love you so much. Please don't ever fail me. But I really was thinking like, this wasn't easy from the get-go, but it's always been worth it. Always been worth it. And that wasn't always tied to what I earned. It was worth it when somebody said that my post cheered them up that day. It was worth it when somebody reached out and said, you know what, I went for a walk today because you posted your video and I thought maybe I should do it too. Anything is a win in this business. And I didn't get many wins in my other job. It was really just a means to an end. I needed a paycheck, so I did the thing so I could get my paycheck, you know? So I firmly believe that even on the very worst days, this is still better than a regular job, hands down. And the very last thing that I've learned over the last 6 years that I'm really starting to take seriously for myself is that consistency is my income. Consistency is how I earn. It's a hard one. It's the hardest one, showing up every day. It's the hardest one when you feel like you're doing all the things and not being compensated back to like it doesn't equate maybe with all the work you're doing. You feel like you're not getting the pay that makes it worthwhile. It makes you sometimes maybe say, I don't want it today. I'm going to choose not to post today. I'm going to choose not to show up for my clients today because they're not showing up for me. Nobody's commenting my challenge group. So why should I comment? Why should I post? Because that's our job. Because we hold ourselves to a different standard. And in doing those things, in showing up on the hard days, like I've done it before where I've had a horrible, crappy day. And for some reason, that's often when I choose to go live because that's fun to do. But I find power in it. Suddenly there's people jumping on and they're encouraging you, or you do a post that you sort of bury your soul in and people are like, thanks for sharing that. I've been there too. And you realize you're not alone, and you realize that in sharing your voice, you've made somebody else not feel alone. Pardon me. Beautiful, beautiful part of our business. But consistency is my income. And when we show up and hustle, like we're like, go, 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 go. And we're so energized and so excited. And then we stop and we pull away for a little bit. We got to build that all up again. And that's exhausting for you and confusing for your people. And I did a live the other day on my Instagram. I hate going live on Instagram. But I'm trying to get better at it. Good English, Karina. But I did it just yesterday because I'm doing the ultimate portion fix. But that might be confusing for my clients for whom I have said to before, I am never going to go back to the container system. That's a bit confusing for them. So I wanted to explain why. I wanted to explain that I'm simply doing it so that I have that as a tool in my toolbox to help them. Not because I think it's going to work for me. Well, I think it will. I can't see it not. But because I think it's important for us as coaches to be educated in all the things, because what works for me, to be mindset, may not work for everybody. It maybe is a bit too free for some people. They need that structure of those containers. So I went live and talked about it because I know that a confused follower doesn't buy. A confused follower doesn't invest in you. Like, it doesn't keep showing up for you. If you don't keep showing up for them, they don't keep showing up for you because they don't know if they can. I've seen it so often over the course of the last 6 years of, it happens in any network marketing business, but of coaches being like gung-ho, 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 and then they disappear for months and then they come back. And that's okay. Please don't misunderstand me. Your journey is yours and I respect it. But I've seen how hard it is to build that back up because people's trust were broken a little bit, right? They were like, well, you were always showing up and then you disappeared. So I didn't know where you were. So how can I know that you're really back? And that's why we just keep showing up, and we keep showing them that we will. And we even address that. We say, you know what? I went AWOL a little bit there. Here's why. And you don't have to apologize for it. It's your journey. It's allowed. Like, wherever you are at is where you are. And it's so important to honor that in life and in this business. So there's a quote again from The Compound Effect. If you can't tell, I'm maybe rereading that book because it really was a game changer for me in the very beginning of my business. It's by Darren Hardy. He says, it's not the big things that add up in the end. It's the hundreds, thousands, or millions of little things that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. And that's probably the most accurate statement for network marketing that there is. And it's not just Beachbody. It's for any company, anybody working that dream, is that every single day doing the little things. Maybe it's inviting one person. Maybe it's inviting 20. Who knows where your energy's at that day, right? Maybe it's reading for 10 minutes. Maybe it's reading all day because you just need to fill your mind with positivity from your personal development. Maybe it's taking a step back from your social media. Like, you do a post and say that, being like, I need to peace out today. That's still showing up. That's still being consistent because you've let your people know where you're going. I don't take lightly the role that I play in other people's lives, whether it's in real life, probably more so now online. I don't take it lightly. I know who I need to be and how I need to show up for them, and I'm proud of it and I'm happy with it. It's not a burden to me. And I think that and I just say this with full honesty, if it's a burden for us to show up, we need to ask ourselves why. Like, then maybe, like, if this doesn't light you up, doesn't make you excited, doesn't make you happy, then why are we doing it? Like, it shouldn't be a chore. It really shouldn't. Amanda, your post that you just shared in Shine Bright Nation, I loved it. Like, you're just like, I've been doing this. I love that you didn't do the meal plan for 80-day obsession, because I don't think anyone should do that meal plan. I really don't. I think it's dangerous and stupid. Unless somebody's got a really solid, for me, no, not for me. But I was like, that is such a testimony to what we are as coaches. Like, we do the things, we do the programs, we live it out loud, and it empowers you, and it makes you feel confident, it makes you feel amazing. And that was supposed to be one of my points, and I didn't write it down. It has to start with us. It has to start with our own journey, because that's where mine started. And that's where successful coaches start. They start with themselves, not with anybody else, but with yourself, with what you want, why you started this. I was realizing that today. I'm doing the new 21-day fix, right? And the and ultimate portion fix. And I was doing it. I'm like, you know what? I freaking love this. Like, I would love this if I wasn't a coach. I love that I'm in my bedroom with my computer and I can pick my workout to do. I love that I can go and I look at program materials and I can figure out meals for me. I can figure out different recipes to try. This is something I would love whether I was making money doing it or not. I really, truly would. Which is why I know I'm aligned with the right thing, right? So just exactly that. I just want to say his quote again, that it's not the big things that add up in the end. It's the hundreds and thousands and millions of little things that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. And Rachel Hollis says that in both of her books. She says it in Girl Wash Your Face and Girl Stop Apologizing. She says, like, everyone thinks she's like this overnight success. Like, suddenly she's everywhere and she's so popular and blah, 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 blah. She's been around forever. She's been working her tail off forever. She's just started to be seen and heard and just exploded, really, like in her time, right? But there had to have been, and she says it, that there were times over the years leading up to this that she wondered if anyone would ever read her books. Like, if anyone would ever know her name the way that she wanted to be known. And she just kept showing up regardless and kept making it happen regardless. So those are my things, is that we will have challenges, but that they will be worth it, that we are our own only sure thing that regrettably people will let us down or disappear or change their minds or what have you. That even on its worst day, being an entrepreneur is better than the best day at a regular job, that making mistakes is a given, and that failing forward, imperfect action beats perfect inaction any day, and that consistency is my income. And I think that, like I said, like I'm recording this, I'm going to actually make this call my recording public on YouTube, because I think this applies to any business anyone's out there trying to do. I don't think it has anything to do with Beachbody specifically. I think that if you are working for yourself and hustling towards a dream, these things are just applicable to that. So yeah, everything's changed in the world of coaching, and we just got to keep changing with it. And I'm excited for that. I'm actually kind of glad, because I get bored really easily. So for me, that's a positive thing. I can't recommend the book, The Compound Effect, enough. I actually get people to read it that are clients, to help them understand the compound effects of their choices each day, like when it comes to their nutrition and whatnot. It's an easy read. It's a little book. It's not like a big thick novel or anything like that. It's a really good one to have in your tool belt. Does anyone have any questions, thoughts, questions about how things have changed or things you can do or anything? New? Is that a new? I will have our team calendar up tomorrow. I should have it up tomorrow if this ear stops ringing, because it's just getting progressively worse. As I've been sitting here, I'm like, and there's a really loud sound in my ear. But yeah, I should be able to have that up tomorrow for us, because we will have a coach sneak peek at some point in the month of April. It'll probably be the third week of the month like it usually is. And then coach training beginning on the first Monday of the following month, which will shockingly enough be May. We'll already be in May in just one short month. Bring on summertime. Yeah. I'm grateful for each of you, for anyone watching the recording, everybody on this call. I'm grateful for everything. I really am. The ups, downs, the all-arounds. I am 100% forever grateful that I said yes to Rosa. I am. It changed everything for my family. And even with all the ups, downs, and all arounds, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I really wouldn't. I would never go back to a life before this, because you know what also I realized? Before Beachbody, I didn't know that I would own 1 million positive word shirts. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know I would seek them out. I didn't know I would buy them online. Like, I am like obsessed with shirts with words, and it's hard pressed to go into my closet to find something that doesn't have some motivational slogan on it. And people have like gotten used to looking for that on me. But I love that. I love that because of this, we spread more positivity, and we have more tools than most people do. Most people don't know about personal development. They don't know, they don't have, Rachel Hollis's voice shouting around in their head, or Jen Sincero's voice shouting around in their head. They don't know the goodness and the positivity that exists out there. And that's our job, to show them and just shine the light for them. So I'll let you guys go. My throat is killing me. But I'm grateful you guys were on the call, and I hope you have an awesome night. And we'll be back next Tuesday, our regularly scheduled programming. Okay? Bye, guys. Thanks for being on.